Hi, it's Mary Beth Shaw from StencilGirl Products. Thanks for joining me for my almost live. I feel like I've been talking about international travel and travel journaling for weeks now. I was talking about it before I left on my trip, then during the trip I was talking about it, and I've recently been talking about it, hoping to encourage people to join me on my trips for 2024. And guess what? I'm going to talk about it again today. Kind of. So bear with me because I'm going to do a quick flip through of the journal I made on my last trip. And then I'm going to do a journal spread for you. So you will hopefully learn some new techniques, including one that I learned from one of our customers. I love it when that happens, when a customer writes in, and this amazing lady sent me a piece of real mail. It was so cool, and actually with some samples of what she had been doing with our stencils, and it just was delightful to read her letter. And I've been corresponding with her now on email. That's been so much fun, and I can't wait to share what she does because it's really pretty flippin' cool. So anyway, let's turn the camera around and we will take a look at my journal flip through first. All right, here we go. Let me move these a little bit to the side, these supplies. And this is the journal that we made on my recent trip. It was a design that I saw online somewhere, and I really gravitated to the design because you could work the pages outside of the book format and then put the single pages together as a book, which I find to be super advantageous when working in watercolor. Probably because I work so much wet and it's just easier to have several pages in process at the same time. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm not going to make the journal for you because, you know, the people on the trip got that part, but I do want to show you what we made to get an idea of how this will work. Okay, so let's do this again soon. Piece of cardboard that I get from a company that I buy food from, Daily Harvest. This is on their box, and I just love the saying, and I knew the instant I saw it I wanted to use it for a travel journal. All right, page 1. This is a spread that is all about Amsterdam. And Amsterdam, if you've never been there, is bikes, bikes, bikes everywhere. I had to represent that. Some text from the museums, a little carved stamp I bought, a napkin. This little thing was a little paper thing that was like sat on our plate one night when we had dinner, and the cutlery was tucked into this little pocket. It was longer than this, and of course the minute I saw it I knew I wanted to use it in my journal, so I collected the business cards that I picked up and put it in there. So if I ever need to refer back to the Amsterdam trip, I'll have the business cards right with me. And this is kind of how we roll these travel journals. We collect things on the way, we learn art techniques, we put it all together, and it's just fun, fun, fun. Lots of layers here. A lot of tissue. I've got watercolor, I've got acrylic, I've got, you know, our usual suspects in here. Used a few stencils, the tulips, because, you know, hello, Amsterdam, April tulips. Moco. This is a museum in Amsterdam that I adored. It was a highlight of the trip for me. Museum of Contemporary Art? No, I don't know what contemporary. Well, anyway, trust me, it's a museum in Amsterdam. Super contemporary stuff. They had Banksy's, Basquiat's. I can't think at the moment. Oh, they had a guy named The Kid, which I'd never seen his work before. Just loved it. But anyway, that was super cool. Other things, train tickets, some stamping I did, stenciling I did, little flaps of, this is the unbleached sari ribbon that I rubber stamped on top of, and then my friend Kristen Williams found these vintage letters somewhere in our travels, and Proust is a word that the Danish use for cheers. So I thought that was cool to make up that word and put it in. Yeah, of course. And these letters, again, were off of the museum bag. I just really liked the look of the lettering. Haarlem. So this was the area outside of Amsterdam where all the tulips are grown, and there's a museum, or not a museum, a garden there where you can see, oh my gosh, it's just amazing how many tulips. I mean amazing. So this has a lot of detail regarding the tulips. These are napkins. Everybody in our group just got completely infatuated about using napkins in our work, and it got to be hilarious because we would come back from an excursion where we had all been on the same excursion, and almost everybody had bought a pack of napkins, and then we shared them among ourselves. It was actually funny because we very seldom duplicated the packages, which was nice that we all had such different tastes. This is super wide washi tape up here. When you put it down over top, it looks very cool with that black and white, super wide washi. Moved over to Paris, and ooh la la, was it ever cool. We went to, this is actually back in Amsterdam, but you know what, it's all one trip in my mind. But here I used some stencils. This is Carolyn Dubie stencil that I adore that I used. Another train ticket. These are cutouts from something that to me just represented Paris. And in the very, very background is the map of kind of the inner area where we were. We stayed in Saint-Germain, and we were real close to Notre Dame, and we navigated this area quite thoroughly, I shall say. Another page about Paris, including some painting that I fussy cut and put over here. This was after I saw in the Musée d'Orsay some Odeon Redon paintings, and oh gosh, his handling of flowers was so cool. I just had to play around a little bit, and I'm going to do a little more of that because it was fun. Little experiments in paint, another stamp, a little bicycle stamp I found, and just things. This is a bookmark for Saint-Chapelle. There's a picture of me with our tour guides. That's Jeanette. This is Susie. It's just great that I met them, oh my gosh, 5 years ago, and I adore them. They put together a really fun tour. And I think this might be my last page because I just didn't get as much done as I hoped. This is from Musée d'Orsay. It's of the clock that's in there, and it used to be a train station, and it was on, I think, some promotional material, and I loved the way it looked. The graphic design of that really thrilled me, and I had to make it the centerpiece of one of these journal spreads, and the end of the book. So there you go. All right, so you're not traveling. What have you been doing lately, huh? Have you been working in your journal? I have. I've been working here and there in mine, and I got this idea. This was my most recent page. This is kind of a new journal for me. I was changing format, tried one on. I think this is made by Arteza. It has a little envelope in the back, a little plastic envelope where you can carry some supplies with you, which is kind of nice. The paper is pretty durable. When you work in it, I've done a mishmash of things in this one, and I very much like the format because it's square pages, a square on each side, and you know how much I love that, right? So I have been slowly working through it, and I'm up to this page where I feel like I need more on this half, although it is a lovely resting page. And it's also a really nice page to do some actual writing. And, you know, I just might do that. So I'm going to turn the page to a clean spread, and that's what we're going to do today. But first, let me tell you my idea. My idea is to gather things around my house and act like I was traveling, pick up stuff here and there that were part of my days, and put that into a journal spread. Because I thought, you know, when I make my travel journals, I look back at the pages and they bring up a lot of memories for me. So what if I just did that in my regular journal? And so that's what I did. Or that's what I want to do with you all, of course, right? So I started looking around and gathering stuff that came up, and I have this little pile here that I'm going to go through. But first, I want to show you this. These gorgeous little stained glass looking things, using our stencils, I might add, were sent to me by Diane Tish. And she shared her technique, which is so much fun, and I had never thought of anything like this before in my entire life. She takes a stencil like this one. This is a Mary Nasser stencil that I really like, of a map. And she paints it black, which is what I've done here. So what I did was I just put it on a background and used black gesso with a sponge brush, and I just sponged over it. And then what she does is she takes a piece of pattern paper or paper she's painted, lays this over top, and puts it on her fax machine and makes a copy of it. And that's what these are. I am like, what? Say what? That is so clever. I think it is absolutely delightful. And when she cuts them out like this, I totally see using them in your work. They're so cool. So what I did was I took the stencil and I laid it down here. And like I said, I was using a foam brush, just a cheap old foam brush, and pouncing on top to get it all black. I removed the stencil, and then I realized, oh, I have a nice little piece of black and white collage fodder here. And then I also have my black stencils, so I was pretty excited about that. And I just wanted to tell you how I did it, because I think everybody's going to want to try it. I mean, how cool is it? So thinking back to last week when I got home, in my mail, it included this insert of collage papers from Uppercase magazine, because I got my my issue of Uppercase. And I thought these were super cool, and I thought it would be fun to put this over this. And rather than, I don't even have a fax machine anymore, but I thought I'd take a picture of it. So I took a picture of it, and then I edited it down, and I sent it to my little sprocket printer. And this is what comes out. This is the printed piece that comes out of the sprocket. And this is actually a sticker, so you can peel off this back part, and it's a sticker. If I had better fingernails, I could do this better. But trust me, I've done it, and I really like the way they turn out. I also thought it would be fun to just photograph my daily life instead of, the exotic Parisian landscape or the tulips or everything else. So I took a picture of my yogurt bowl, my coffee, and some of Diane's things laying around as I was preparing to film this. And I thought that would be the perfect remembrance of this week. So I have two little photos I would like to use in my piece. And then I'm probably going to use this black and white. And then, my sprocket came in the mail this week. And it came in a box that was inside this little thing, and I just adore the color of this. So I saved this as a piece of cardboard, and it has this quote on it, "Let's get this party printed," because I guess people must use these a lot for parties, and I thought that was kind of cool. So next up, and really letting you guys know about how interesting my life is, not so much. But the cardinals are all over our yard, and I adore watching these birds. So I had this vintage songbird book, I guess it's Songbirds of East in the Central States. So I pulled out the cardinal pages, which this one is so pretty. What a pretty page. And then the description about cardinals. and I thought I might use that. Then, this is the one where you're going to be going, you're going to be jelly for a little bit. But I was the lucky recipient of a Tim Holtz tonic, his rotary cutter. This is a picture of it. This is the box that it came in, and it had arrived while I was on my trip. And of course, I'm so excited about that. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? Tim is so good to me to send me products because he knows how much I enjoy using products, and that products I believe in, I will share with other people and tell you about them and how to use them and so forth. I haven't even used it yet, but I'm going to use the box. So here are the box parts from that. This was a little print quality card that was in with the batch of tonic paper. I just mainly like the color. And then this was a part of a lime bag that John comes home from the store, and he always saves the bags for me because, you know, hello, collage person, right? So I'm almost always wanting to use them in something. So this this box from the tonic, the rotary cutter is really thick. It's a real piece of cardboard. So one of the things I want to do before we start is to separate the front of it from the rest of the cardboard. Because if I'm going to glue this in my journal, I don't want this big honking piece of cardboard in there. So I have my knife, but I'm not sure I'm even going to need it because it's just coming off. Yeah, look at that. It's just going to come right off. Oh, there's a tear on the bottom. So sometimes it tears, and you know what? If that happens, that's okay. Oh, but looky here. Kind of tore like it's a shear underneath there. Ooh, I kind of like how that tore. That's pretty cool. Okay, so there's that. And I don't know if I'm going to use these two pieces or not. I really like this graphic, this little, you know, this graphic of the actual machine. I thought that was pretty cool. So this is another one I thought was perhaps too thick. So let's see how this works, taking it apart. Wow, it's just coming apart on its own as well. Yay. So I'm going to just take that front part of it and set the rest of it over here. I may use it or may not. So let's talk about color. So far, I know I want to use the pink. I know I want to use the gray. I may use one of Diane's. Oh my gosh, these cardinals. I've got actually too much for one page spread here, as I frequently do. So we're going to have to pare this down. I think I might just get some real neutral paints and start from there. Probably this piece could maybe be the combining one here because it's got the pink in it, and then we've got a little bit of the blue. Pink and blue, look at me, and then the gray. So, you know, I don't know if that cardinal portrait is going to work. The text is probably going to work. This is going to work too. So, but I may save the actual picture of the bird for another day. So let me gather my paints and I'll be right back. All right, I've got my paper artsy paints out here. I like them, the fresco finish, because they are fresco finish and they are just so nice. You know, fresco like chalk. So I am going to spritz the front and the back of this text about cardinals. Sadly, the back of it is pictures of other birds, which I hate to lose that, but I don't know that this paper is thick enough to separate. Of course, I'm going to give it a try right here while I'm filming with you all. I don't think it's going to work, but welcome to my brain, right? Anyway, I spritzed it because the paper was just a little bit heavier than some of the typical papers I use, and I didn't think it would glue as well unless I spritzed it. So, as is my custom, I will start in the upper left corner with my trusty Yoo-Hoo glue stick, and I'm going to just glue some of it down and kind of pull a little bit away. Going over the edge, I will clean that up later. And then I'll just put the other half of it over here. For me, this reference to the birds tells the story of springtime in my area. It is when we just see so many birds in our yard, and I am very happy watching them. We have a room in our house, a 4-season room that we sit in quite a bit with the cats, and we have bird feeders, and I don't know, it's just really nice. So, all right, make sure that's down there. I'm going to start to add some colors here and there as we go. You know what, I think I'm just going to paint with the sponge at the moment. A little bleed through here in the center that I'd like to cover. I just don't think it looks that great. And I want to casually put some paint out here over the text, because the idea is not to read the whole text. It's just for it to, I feel like it adds a influence to the page. Whatever I layer up tends to inform the rest of the page and certainly add some meaning. So that's why I tend to do that when I'm working in collage. Now, I am going to go ahead and trim away these overhangs. You might see I'm using my Tim Holtz Tonic scissors right now. Tim did not give me these. I actually bought these, and I've tried a bunch of different scissors. I've used many scissors through the years and became super fond of these tonics. I think the quality of them is just quite superior to many other scissors on the market, and I love them. They are in my Amazon shop if you are in the need for scissors, and I do make a little bit of money if you would buy them via that link. So there's that, trimmed off, nice and clean, and I'm going to do the same over here. So cleaning up my edges. You know, lately I've been saving, God forbid I save everything, people, somebody needs to stop me, but I've been saving these little cutoff parts too, and sometimes they're really interesting. I mean, look at that one, right? You get that little corner there, and I think there is a point when I just have to just tell myself, okay, that's enough, stop it. Because I've saved so many things, right? I'm not even sure if I'm going to use this bag, but I do like the sheer nature of it, how it shows what's underneath and so forth. I also love the idea of using some of Diane's work. I'm wondering about, they're so pretty though, I hate to cut them. They are just really pretty though. Oh gosh, look at me in a state of paralysis. I do want my little morning picture, and then this. And then I'm gonna trim this down. I'm gonna reach for my ruler here and trim this down just quickly. This is just done on paper right out of my printer, nothing fancy here. But I do like having black and white, real strong graphic details like that to add to my work. I think you saw probably a lot of that in my my Amsterdam journal. So let's go ahead and maybe let's put this right here. I've never thought, I mean, when I journal at home, which I do all the time, I never do a, oh, let's replicate my day kind of journal. I do more of a certain color or a certain topic that I'm into, or maybe I'm feeling really glum and I'm trying to perk myself up, or maybe I had some kind of a argument with somebody in my family, or I've got parental issues, or I have a headache. I'm always working it for some other reason, and I'm never just collecting items from my day. So this is a completely new idea for me, and it was kind of fun to do it, to see, well, first of all, how boring my day is, and then to think about, can I turn this into something that is artistic? Because I do love a challenge. So that is what you are witnessing right now. I like how this goes with this, and it's an interesting kind of impact seeing them together, because they're both so graphic. Okay. This is getting really grid-like, which, I love a grid. Just put a grid on it, or a bird, either one. I hope that some of you will play along with me and maybe send some pictures of what you do to us here at StencilGirl, particularly if you use our stencils, because we love it when people use our stencils, and it makes us really happy. Oh, you know what? It says, let's get this party printed down at the bottom in French. Well, that is infinitely more interesting than the English translation, especially since I was just in France, right? So I think that's a good one. We'll do that. Let's see here. Let's put this right down here, this little pop of pink, pink, pink. Let's see if I can just use the ruler to tear this, because I am lazy. Oop. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I'm thinking about putting this one over here. I'm going to use some stencils in my background. I like the this stencil that I had designed is just a super nice all over pattern to use in the background when you want some point of interest, but you don't want it to take over your page, It's also a good one to use in the foreground for similar reasons, but let's say you have a whole bunch of items on the page and you need to link them up visually. This is a good stencil for that because it's a pretty tight pattern. So see what I mean here, how it tends to link it up? And I'm going to hold this up to the camera a little bit, and maybe you can see this a little bit closer, how it does that. And I linked up these two pieces of collage, but then I also added a little bit more in the background. And I believe that the stencil gives you somewhat of a textural impact, even though it's not a real texture that you can feel with your hands per se, but it does kind of visually look like texture. So that's a nice thing to add. I kind of like the idea of this up here. Let's do a little fussy cut. I'm sorry, Diane, I'm cutting your piece, if she's watching. She was so lovely. Cincinnati's my hometown, and then I found out she's from Cincinnati. And I had to write to her again and say, oh my gosh, it's my hometown. And she confessed that her age to me, and I'm not going to reveal it, but let's say she's very clever and still working it for her age. It was delightful to meet her. I kind of would love to meet her in person, honestly, but every time I'm over in Cincinnati, I tend to be dealing with parental issues more than socializing these days. I guess that's just life with aging parents. Again, I'm peeling the back off because otherwise too thick for me. So I'm going to just put that right there to get that little pop that's going to connect with this piece over here. That's maybe a little too much of that piece, so I think maybe I'll go with this. All right, and then I'm going to put this one. Now this is the sticker, right? So all I have to do here is pull off the sticker back and voila, there it is. So we're going to put this up here. I don't want to cover the whole picture there. I may use some of this up here too. I could turn it into a straight edge at the bottom, even though it's a curved piece. That might be kind of cute. Actually, I could do it this way as well. That is actually a better way. Let's get some more of this off of here. I don't know how you journal, but for me, it's almost like making a puzzle. It's the idea of taking these kind of random parts and just putting them together in a way that seems pleasing and just seems, I don't know, a little, you know, like you're making a picture. Kind of scrapbooky in a certain way, but with the glue and the paint, I think it's going to a different level, you know. And also, so many of the component parts I alter. I don't know what the deal is. There's maybe not even any paint left in here. There's a little bit that just came out. Yay! Okay, so I just want to put a little bit of that in the background. I've got that lighter color on my brush there, which is blending it as I move it, and I rather like. And of course, I like to be, I don't know, a little bit unplanned with it. You know, I don't want to precisely cover up different sections. I just want to roll with it. So that is good. Let's see what else we have here that we want to use. I could use this. Actually, I may use this all over here. It's kind of cool. My husband always checks with me before he throws things away, you know, in case I it's so funny. And it's like, I got him trained, I think. He understands the mind of a collage artist, of a mixed media artist. So that's kind of fun. Okay. Put that there. I do kind of want, where did that picture go? Oh, here it is. Here's the other one. Maybe I'll just let that frame up there. Let this green part frame up my picture. Now, I have a compositional issue. This just becomes super apparent to me. This, obviously, is the same size as this, and they're also very close to the same size of the picture of the tonic machine. So this is glossy, so I can kind of wipe that off. That's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got these two already, but I'm going to cut this one down, and so that at least I've got a third one. The third one is maybe a little bit smaller, and then I will see if I can collage something over that, because it's the it kind of goes to the idea of you know, what the eye wants to look at, and it doesn't necessarily want to look at a bunch of things that are all exactly the same, you know, unless you are exploring that whole repetition thing, and that's exactly, you know, what you are planning. And that might work too, but I'm just saying from that standpoint, for me, it's an issue, and I noticed it instantly when I was looking at this. All right, I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Maybe I will just use, I've actually got it in here already, so let's see here. I have mixed up a little green color here, and I'm going to use a different stencil around this. You know what? Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to use the same one I've been using because I think this will add some continuity. I'm feeling like I have some things I want to cover up a little bit more. Yes, that's nice, and that blends in there. And so I shall continue this across the page and knock out a little bit of that black. This is a piece of the original collage that I had photographed, and I ended up cutting it to size to put there. I think I'm going to just put it right in the collage because I think it pulls from the photo pretty nicely from over here, you know, kind of that little juxtaposition. So I'm going to glue it down. Oops. And there it goes. Alrighty. Now, I have an area up through here that just doesn't do a darn thing for me, you know? It's just meh. So I could add a little bit more of that collage. Maybe I'll try that and see. Let's put this arrowed part in here and see how it looks over that blue. Oh yeah, that helped quite a bit. And then I want to, I have my fine liner here, and I have some shading gray high flow inside of it. And what I want to do is continue some of these lines. Of course, I've got this texture lime bag here. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Live dangerously, right? In some places it's grabbing the lime bag and it's kind of spreading out a little bit. It's kind of interesting. Lately I have been, I don't know, just very obsessed with this idea of continuing the lines in my work and finding things in the collage and continuing the lines and kind of pulling things together that way. And I like how it works out, I really do. All right, so there are a lot of lines here. So this one, let's see here. This one I need to make fatter. Once I do this, I'm going to have to let it rest because this is going to stay wet for quite a while. But that's just what it does, right? Now, I am just going to make up a line of connection for that part. And I'm going to extend the framework of that up. Now, I don't like how I did that, so I'm going to then try to remove it, which it works perfectly. You know, it's just problem solving and puzzle making, I swear. That's what journaling is all about, and it's probably why I like it so much, because I do like a good puzzle, right? Who doesn't? All right, so there's that. And I think I'll take this one down here and anchor this black piece that anchors that section. To me, to my eye anyway, it makes it a lot stronger. And then I'm going to try to do a skinny line across here and connect to the edge of the page. And then I think that looks pretty good. When this dries, I'm going to put a glaze of like a warmed yellowy orange over it, and I won't be able to do that for a bit, but I'll put it on the end of the video so you can see the final analysis of this page, and hopefully it will inspire you to document your life. It doesn't have to be international, just whatever's going on. Whatever you pick up and decide to put in your collage is what represents your life for any particular moment in time. A day, a week, an hour, whatever you'd like it to be. Thank you so much for watching.